Welcome to your Cochrane right now. This is a weekly podcast all about the best town in the entire world, Cochrane, Alberta. My name's Eric Ruddle, joined by Lauren Meister. And Lauren, did you have fun at George Fox this Saturday night? The hometown hero returned.
I know. It was a great night. Honestly, I'm still buzzing from that high. It was a lot of fun. He put on a heck of a show.
Oh, yeah. It was funny because we snagged front row. So you and I were MCs and we're like, we got to be close to the stage. So we snagged front row.
Yeah.
And Candace and her husband Jim came, and Jim was like, why did you pick the front row? It'll be too loud. And we're like, I don't know how loud George Fox is going to be.
Yeah.
He was loud. He was rocking
Oh.
it. Like the drums alone, you could feel like doom, doom, doom. It was a heck of a show.
Just the energy, just bouncing around. And you and I were saying that, you know, there's quite a few songs that we weren't super familiar with
Exactly.
because he's a little bit before our time, you know,
which
it
I
is
think
what
is
it
fair.
is. Yeah. And, but his energy, it didn't matter that we didn't know all the songs.
No.
It didn't matter. His showmanship was just fantastic. His energy, his stage presence. He had funny jokes. He had funny stories.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to see him. And just the audience's reaction, too, when he was on the stage. It was such a great night.
And 550 people at the Lions Event Center. It was packed. And at one point, there was a lot of people chanting your name. Lauren, Lauren, Lauren. Probably not for the reason you wanted.
No, I wasn't on the program, so
No.
I don't know why.
Yeah. So this was for the Stockman's Memorial Foundation. It
Yes.
was like they got a big government grant to
Yes.
do this huge party
Yeah.
to raise money for them.
Yeah, but they're a nonprofit.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Nonprofit. Really awesome organization. And they're like, you know what could raise a ton of money? This special cocktail.
A
right?
signature drink.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
it was a smoky Caesar.
Yeah.
Right. They wanted to feel like you were getting branded. All 5 of your senses. So it smelled great. All that stuff. And then on top was a garnish of a prairie oyster. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, we live in landlocked Alberta. Not many oysters chilling here.
Not a whole lot.
They are known for their branding, and when you brand cows and bulls, you cut off something, and they are bull balls. Bull testicles right
Oh
on
boy.
top.
Okay.
And you asked, you're like, are these like raw? And he's like, no.
Well, that was my biggest thing is I am a little bit sensitive when it comes to food, so I just wanted to make sure that they were actually cooked.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were freshly cut or if they were actually cooked. I didn't know.
So they were pickled for 3 days and then like smoked for hours, right? So they're fully edible.
Yes.
And so we go on stage, we announce they're doing this drink, super cool. And then Scott from the Stockmans comes over and he's like, which one of you guys are going to have one? I don't eat meat. So I was like, Lauren. And I hit you on the shoulder. I'm like, she'd love to. Thinking it was a joke. And he's like, cool. And he leaves. And I was like, ha, ha, ha. He walks back over and you're just kind of sitting there and they grab your hand and they just like stamp it like, poop.
Yeah.
Like,
They branded me.
yeah. So you're branded. They hand you a certificate that says you've been branded Lauren Meister. Spelt it wrong, but close enough, right?
There's probably no other Lauren Neisters in the building.
Exactly. And then they hand you this drink. And it is the size of
Like a pickle?
a good old gherkin right on top. Boom. And he's like, here's the mics. He went and got the mics. Let's go on stage. And Lauren, let's get you branded.
And I'm just like, I'm elbowing everybody around me. I'm like, Jenny, you want to do this? Jim,
No,
Candace,
nope,
anybody?
nope,
Anybody?
Nope.
Yeah.
And my wife was there as well. And she's eyeing me going, I know you don't eat it. You need to save her. And I was like, no.
Sweet of her.
No, I'm not going to. So peer pressure, 550 people. We get on stage because we got to do it. You're looking at this honker of a prairie oyster going, oh my gosh. Like, you're not the most adventurous when it gets to gross food, right?
No, and I honestly don't even eat a lot of red meat.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It doesn't get redder than that.
It really doesn't.
So we're up on stage and he's like, let's go. And I throw you right under the bus. I get the crowd chanting, Lauren, Lauren. 550 people are now watching you. The spotlights are on us. They're blinding. And you did it.
I had to take a couple sips of the Caesar
Yeah.
to get a little bit of liquid courage going first. But my biggest concern was I thought they were going to make me eat the entire thing.
Yeah,
And
like-
keep it down. Thank goodness I only had to have one bite and swallow it.
Yep.
And then they left me alone.
And you did it, and everyone cheered, and everyone was so proud of you. And even you went to the washroom and you said there was a lineup of people who were like, what did it taste like? I can't believe you did it. Oh my gosh.
And so proud of you. So many ladies and men in the washroom lineup. They're like, I am so proud of you. Like, good on you. And exactly asking me how it tasted because so many people were curious. So I'd be curious to know how many people went and purchased one after I tried one.
Exactly. And your friend came and joined us later in the night there. And she's like, we are together, sister. I'm getting one as well. So she goes, waits in line, gets one. Well, her garnish was the size of what? Like an M&M.
I know.
Like it was so tiny. And we find out later that the person serving these things was like, oh, Scott from the Stockmans came over earlier and said, give Lauren the biggest, the biggest one you have.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Really nice, Scott.
Yeah. I love the moment where he came over. He's like, you ate it all? It's like, yeah, no, I didn't launch it into the garbage as soon as I had an
definitely didn't go in the garbage.
So, you had a full tummy the whole night long.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to think about that. Yeah. Well, I've got to say, it was more just like in my head of what I was eating because it actually didn't taste that. It was fine. It tasted like a sausage.
Right.
Like it actually did. It really, really did. It tasted just like a smoky on a barbecue, right?
Would you eat it again?
No.
No.
You know what? Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I can like check it off the list though, right?
Yeah.
You can't say that for yourself.
Oh, man, maybe next time. But it was also cool. We got George Fox into the studio moments before he went on the stage there and got to talk to him. He's just a down-home guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was even cool at the show. He was looking in the crowd and he's like, my guitar teacher who taught me guitar is right there, right? Like, the lineup afterwards, he stayed around to meet fans. Like, he was just probably bombarded with stories of his parents, of his family, and being like, do you remember me? I remember you when we were this big. And it was just so special.
He was probably there till the middle of the night signing autographs and talking to people. Because even there was a lady who came up during one of his songs and dropped off a rose.
Yeah.
And as soon as he finished the song, he's like, oh, I knew who that was. And he said the lady's name. Because I guess years ago when he was opening for Randy Travis, she had put a rose in front of him as well. So that's pretty cool.
It was funny. I laughed because George, he had security on either side of the stage. These guys were looking. They just let this lady walk right up to George. I was like, where's the tackling? Yeah.
We're in Cochrane.
Exactly. They're like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
She's fine.
She's got a flower.
Exactly.
There's nothing in there. But yeah, it was so cool having him here in the station too. Because I still remember right before we launched the station, I tried to get a hold of him. I was trying to track him down and get him here with no success. So I know we've talked to him a couple of times since then. But one of his first things that he said as soon as he came in here, he's like, I finally found your station.
Yes.
So he's so excited to be here as well. And just talking to him in his own hometown. And he still tries to get out here about once a year, though.
He still got lost, though. He texts us. He's like, I'm going to be 5 to 10 minutes late. I do not know these new roads.
To be fair, he was probably stuck in traffic. Don't you think?
Right. Coming down the 1A, he's like, this is 60 now? What is going on?
It's true.
But even the Helping Hands came in and he was doing some stuff for them for Coldest Night of the Year. And they said, just to show how normal of a guy he is, they reached out saying, hey, George, we'd love your help on this. And George just called them, being like, hey, it's George Fox. Like, no PR person, no, I'll have my guys talk to your guys. No.
Yeah.
And then, he's given some help for that as well. So it's just, he's a cool guy. And now that's off the bucket list of cool artists to have here in town. Who's next? Paul Brandt?
We got to get Paul Brandt in the station and have him perform for Cochranites. Like, he lives in Cochrane.
Exactly, right? He should just pull out his guitar like that show could sell out nights, I think, at the Lions Event Center.
I think Paul Brandt could put on a show every single night in Cochrane and people would be there.
So Paul, of course, listens to this podcast, and you know he's listening now. So Paul, let us know. We'll set you up with a show, and it'll be a ton of fun.
Sounds like a plan.
But I don't know. It's crazy to think 550 people were at George Fox. Triple that is going out to Ghost Lake almost every single weekend to watch people drive around on ice. Have you been out yet to take in the ice tracks?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No, because I'm not the biggest car guy. I'd be like, "Oh, this looks slippery," and it's.
Do you know who is though?
Who?
Candace.
Has she been going out?
No, but Candace Davy. I don't think she's been going out currently.
In her Subaru. Like,
Exactly. Or Jim's van.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Candace, actually, she told me the story the other day that back in the day, her fun radio days, she actually got to drive a race car on ice against a race car driver.
What?
And she was speeding around and all of the things, and it was a racetrack on ice.
That is so cool.
You need to ask her about it. It's really cool.
I did it once. My buddy owns property just outside, and they kind of build one on their property. They pick up beater cars. And we did one lap, and then I slammed into another.
Into another vehicle?
Yeah. And he was like, "You don't get to drive anymore."
Oh, did you wreck it?
No, I broke the tail light.
Ooh.
Oops.
Yeah.
So, I'm not in a rush to go out to Ghost in my 1992 station wagon, but just seeing thousands of people going out, I got to talk to Benjamin, who is one of the people who is maintaining it. They don't own, obviously.
No.
Ghost is just water. Like, anyone can go out there, and he said on some of those nice Sundays we've had, 3,000 people.
That's an entire town. Like, that's a whole community.
It blows my mind that that parking lot, like during the summer, is packed, and that's probably maybe 1,000. 3,000 people.
People must be like lining up and down on the highway to park.
And Noel went out, our reporter, to get some photos. It was really cool. And he said, it's not just ice racing going out there. Like, there's obviously ice fishing. There's people who just make their makeshift skating rinks with their family. People flying drones. Like, he's like, it is actually a happening place with everything winter activities. I'd be scared to bring my family out and because those cars are whipping around.
I don't know if I'd want to skate on that ice. That would make me a little nervous of a vehicle getting out of control. I'm just thinking opportunity, bring a food truck out there or something. Like if you had one, right?
Yeah, right. Like that's a lot of business out there.
Oh, yeah. If you have 3,000 people out there,
and
that's crazy.
It's grown, right? So this is the third year they've done it. The first year they said they just built like a circle, right? Come drive the circle.
Yeah.
Now they have 6 tracks, over 10 kilometers long.
That's crazy.
And he doesn't have official records, but he says the longest track in North America.
That is
just 9 minutes outside of Cochrane.
Yeah. Wow.
And somebody brought out their picture a Lamborghini. They brought it out there. $500,000.
I don't even know how you'd get it. You'd have to bring it on a trailer because you wouldn't even be able to drive that on winter roads.
Like the clearance on it, and you probably have to go over a hump to get onto the ice.
I would imagine it's not smooth to get onto the lake.
And he said there's no barriers. There's no gatekeeper being oh, let me check out your car. So if you want and you just want to go drive in circles, you can go anytime during the week, or like I said, it's kind of the Wild West there. I asked him about the RCMP and the police and stuff, and he said as long as people are being respectful and know they're not out there to be ready to help just in case something did happen, right? Rock and roll.
Yeah,
and
use
they
at your
also
own risk.
Wanted to really be courtesy, of course, cottage country, cottage land.
Yes, cottage. Yeah.
The cottage people,
people
who
live
on Ghost, they said they built their track as far away as possible because, of course, their backyard and
for sure,
it's fun for the first weekend. But
nobody wants to hear ripping around all the time.
Right?
I'm just thinking we're giving away a brand new Jeep. How would that Jeep do out there?
Yeah, Noel, he said that was the most common vehicle out there was Jeep. So I'm sure that phone call would be great. Hey, you know that Jeep we're giving away? We kind of slid it into a bank. It's fine. It's fine. But that's really, really cool. And it's probably going on for the next 2 to 3 months until...
Well, whenever
is somebody
it warms
out there
up.
testing the ice, though?
Well, that'd be my concern.
You need a fancy drill, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
or is it just kind of
Well, and especially...
it's good. bring it out.
It's been really warm. Like we had that one cold snap before Christmas. And then other than that, we've had like plus temperatures for a month. It's going to get cold now in the next couple of weeks. But how do we know it's actually frozen?
I don't know. That'd be, yeah. Then just somebody's luck too is like they go out on a Tuesday. Oh, no one's out here. I'll go test like sploosh. So be careful. I don't know how you test it. Maybe, yeah.
Just make sure you're not the first person to go out.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, that huge truck is out there and it hasn't fallen through, so we should be fine.
Yeah, my vehicle's lighter than that, so we're good. Yeah.
And if you had to bring up a photo of the pandemic, of those 2 and a bit years here in Cochrane of your life, do you have like that quintessential picture that you're like, that is COVID in Cochrane?
Yeah, I think back to like watching the traffic cam, like sitting here in the studio in the mornings by myself because I'm the only person in the station.
That was allowed in the station.
Well,
right?
Exactly. Or everybody else was just slacking. I don't really know. But I would try to do traffic breaks and I would watch the Cochrane Now traffic cam and there was no one on the roads. So I'm like, how do I make this traffic break interesting when there's no one going to work? Everybody's working from home. So that's what I think of when I think of COVID.
Now, I ask because we are getting a new mural in town. And it's a mosaic, like all our murals. Mm-hmm. But the Cochrane Area Event Society got a huge grant from the government who's trying to do like, your community made it through COVID. Let's celebrate that you came together and did it. So they are putting it on the wall of Mr. Lube, which faces the new station. Not us, the Innovation Center.
The other station, not Cochrane Now.
And the picture's really cool. It is the grandfather tree, so obviously super Cochranite, 2 kids hugging the tree.
That's cool.
And it's little squares. So they're saying you can submit a picture, whether it is a photograph, which is interesting because they usually just do artwork.
Yeah.
They're saying it can be a photo this time or artwork of COVID.
Yeah.
Whether it is the sad stuff, the losses, all that stuff, or the celebrations, the cool stuff that came from it. And honestly, I have nothing that jumps to my mind.
Really? See, when I think of like celebrations and stuff, then I think about like all the cool things that happen. Like, remember those Jeepers parades and stuff?
True. And the first responders and the birthday parades. I remember those. Those were huge.
So cool. Yeah. Like you just think about like all the different ways that everybody had to adapt, and then they just kind of made good of it, right? Like it was kind of weird at first, but then it's like, well, you just got to make the best of it.
So if we just draw a bunch of vehicles, like that's what you're saying.
Well, because I'm me,
super
and I'm
artist.
sure you. We're really artistic, but I'm sure there's somebody more talented than us that could do a good job.
Well,
of that.
I'd love to get not only Cochrane Now, but like my family in there as well, because that will be up there forever. Look at the other ones. There's one at the bottom of the bridge there, and the one at the Tim Bannister Memorial Rink. Right, they stay in perfect condition, and you could always say like. Oh, we're in that picture, right?
My family or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I agree. But thinking about like what's the right photo, what's the right idea to do that?
Yeah, sitting in your underwear, working from home, it could be funny.
But it works.
That was a lot of people.
That'll be like a cloud in the sky if you're wearing tighty whities or something,
that
right?
will be the one that's perfectly eye level, right? You're like, oh, they'll hide it up in the corner. No, here's the radio station. Yeah, great. So you can submit that. I believe they want to do it before summer. So you have a couple of weeks, months to get it into them, and they need a ton of photos. So
I'm looking forward to seeing that because that'll be funny too, just seeing if you recognize people too.
You got to think, right?
Well, especially behind the masks. I bet you there'll be a lot of mask photos.
Yeah.
And
like, how big are these squares going to be?
Well, I don't know. That's a pretty big wall.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they'll be big enough that you'll be able to see each individual.
As big as our photo of George.
I don't know. The signed photo.
The signed photo. Yes, he joins our collection. He's been sitting here with the podcast. He's our official third member.
Yeah, and he signed our artist guitar, which is really cool. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Paul Brandt, 2023 or bust. If you know Paul Brandt, tell him we want him here at the Cochrane Now radio station.
Well, you saw him at the pool.
I did see him at the pool.
Why didn't you bug him?
Because we made eye contact, and he's like, I know you know who I am. Leave me alone. right?
Well, especially at the pool.
Yeah, right.
It's a bit awkward.
Hey, man.
Walk over in your
right. Like
bathing suit.
we're both not wearing shirts. It's weird. How do I ask? Hey, I'm from the radio station. Oh, thanks, man.
Here's
I'm with
my card.
kids.
Oh, wait.
Exactly, right? Let me just write it on your chest, Paul. I think I'll leave them alone. I didn't want a restraining order yet. That's coming this year.
Okay.
Anyway, that's everything happening in Cochrane. You can grab this podcast on all your favorite services or watch the video up on cochranow.com. And until next week, I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah.